What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Good Days Only podcast, episode 3. Back to back. Número 3. Tres leches. What's good? Some tres leches. That shit slaps. If you have never tried tres leches, some pastel, some tres leches cake, ooh, you got to get yourself some of that. And hey, it goes good with a good old-fashioned cup of joe. Let me get a little sip. But yes, welcome to the Good Days Only podcast, bringing you good coffee, good vibes, and good music. A podcast for all. All right, bringing you the honest caffeine breakdowns and reviews, sprinkling in some good news to add some positivity to your day during these stressful times. And last but not least, going to be rounding off the podcast here with a little parting gift for y'all to help get you through the week. Let you know what I'll be bumping in my headphones on the way to work, while walking the dog, driving to the store, whatever it might be. But without further ado, let's get into it. And it's time for the caffeine breakdown. All right, the caffeine breakdown for episode 3. Here are the 5 categories. Subject to change. Not sure about this. We might be changing these as we dial this in for the future episodes. We are on number 3. All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. All right, this is still a learning process. And again, I would like to thank you for joining me on this journey as we are learning together. Here are the 5 categories. Number 1, the coffee name and the roaster, the message background that is given by the coffee roasters, the coffee masters there. All right. Number 2, the appearance and packaging. Number 3, the roast type. Number 4, the brew style. And number 5, the coffee grind type. All right. So, hey, yo, dude, I'm excited for this one. I know, I feel like I've said that every episode so far, but for real, this one, these guys, these coffee roasters, they hit the nail on the head. And let's get into number 1, the coffee name and the roaster, and give you a little message, a background from them. This is Middle Fork Roasters. The story begins with quality beans and a passion for great coffee, and ends with our love for the community, including you. Look at that. Middle Fork Roasters, putting you at the beginning of the story. Simply put, we love coffee. Based in Seattle, we roast in the heart of coffee culture, roasting small batches with only the finest, freshest ingredients. Our love for coffee, however, has been a conduit for us to strengthen our own relationships and our community. Each bag represents a commitment to building strong communities by partnering with local and independent producers. Whoa, dude, that's awesome. Way to go, Middle Fork Roasters. And today from Middle Fork Roasters, we got their Tough as Nails blend. I don't know why I said that with a country accent. It makes me feel country. Hey, the name, Tough as Nails blend, that's a solid name. Pick this one up at the QFC here. And so you can pick it up at the QFC. You could also go out to the Middle Forks Roaster website and go visit them on site if you're interested in the Middle Fork Roasters. The Tough as Nails blend today that we got. Little tasting notes from the coffee masters. A bold combination of Colombian and Guatemalan, little mix of our Central and South American beans here, which we learned before. They bring the rich, velvety qualities, most having sort of sweetness and some spices in there. Okay, so bold combination here of the Colombian Guatemalan dark roasts, featuring a syrupy body and a pleasant, peppery finish. This blend achieves the flavors of a classic dark roast while maintaining Middle Fork's signature smooth body. And they weren't lying, everybody, because this was smooth. I could taste that syrupy body too. When I first sipped this coffee, I was put off by it a little bit because I wasn't expecting the sweetness. It almost didn't taste. It didn't taste like I was just drinking straight coffee, but like it had like a sweet, almost syrupy taste. And that was before I had read these notes, which was kind of cool. But all in all, delicious. I was expecting a little bit more of a defined taste with the name and the packaging, the tough as nails blend. It just seemed like, oh man, this is gonna be one that was gonna put me on my butt. But not that it doesn't go hard. All right, this is a delicious coffee. Pretty dang good. But honestly, I just wasn't expecting that. Very smooth and that syrupy and that peppery finish also. Got a little bit of all those things actually. So this one, hey, kudos to you. They did not lead us astray with those tasting notes. Didn't throw in any, little flavor hints of cilantro or something random like that. Let me go sip here. Yup. Ooh. Middle Fork Roasters. Way to go. But after reading the label, I was expecting a little something different, but that's okay. Let's get into the appearance and the packaging here. I got the 12-ounce bag. They do have the 5-pound bags available as well. I didn't know that was a thing until, the last episode and today. I guess that's a thing. If you are looking for 5 pounds of coffee, sure. But anyways, this appearance, this label here, this a cool ass label. This is exactly why I was drawn to it. I was looking at the store, I was looking at all the different coffees, and I came across this one, and dude, tough as nails blend. Come on. And on the cover, it's in a brown bag. It's a classic brown bag. I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing either for the coffees. I didn't realize it, I guess, until I started doing this and picking up the coffees at the store. But they have some cool art on this one. It's a classic, rugged-looking vaquero. That's cowboy for all my non-Spanish speakers out there. But yeah, this cowboy just looking cool. He's leaned up with his arm against a fence post in a little pose there, like he was posing for the picture. A little piece of like a wheat or something he got coming out of his mouth there. Makes me feel like, if I saw this dude on the street, I'd be like, dang, he's looking tough as nails for sure. That's why I was expecting something a little different with the flavor. But overall, delicioso. Imagine custom bags for your company or work event or like family events, weddings, quinceañeras, things of that nature. They do custom bags. If you look on their website, it's pretty cool. Easy to get around their website as well, which I appreciate. Thank you, Middle Fork Roasters. But they do offer custom bags. So you could get that with a picture of your choice or something, that, like a little message, like a little note if you want to write something like that, like parting gifts for weddings. So that is also awesome. I hadn't seen that before from other roasters, and this coffee is delicious. So if you gave somebody, a custom bag of coffee with some good old fashioned whole beans in there, man, that's a good gift. I would appreciate that. Somebody write that down. I'll put it on my wish list. You could do that for your next family or company event. Look on the Middle Forks website. On the back of the bag here, to go along with the tasting notes and the story from the roaster, they leave us with a little Turkish proverb. It reads, "Coffee should be black as hell, strong as death, and sweet as love." That's, maybe it's something to do with the Turkish grind. I don't know, the Turkish proverb, because I feel like I don't know, but that's pretty cool. This coffee, hey, overall, the appearance, packaging, I really enjoyed that. They got the cool dude on the front, making me feel like I'm tough as nails, getting ready for the week. But let's move on here. Let's move on to the roast type. The roast type here, again, with the dark roast. But this one, like I said, not nearly as defined or jarring as some might think of dark roast to be. A very smooth here, low acidity with that syrupy taste, that syrupy sweetness that we discussed a little bit, and this color as well. The color was interesting. I did notice it was kind of like a medium dark brown in color, like a nice imagine like a nice marshmallow, roasting over the fireplace just before it's about to turn from that brown to black, like just before it catches fire. I know we've all been there when you're roasting a marshmallow and it's about to catch fire, and that dark brown that you see, like that, it transitions, right there, that color. I don't know why I thought of that pouring the coffee, but beautiful color. Which brings us to the brew style. No clear directions here from Middle Fork Roasters. Would have liked a little bit of clear directions, what their recommendation was, but couldn't find anything online. Also not on the bag. So what do? Hey, we went back to the classic, the pour over. All right, so went with the pour over and did the press with this as well. Did the French press. And actually, I have both of them right now, side by side. One thing I did notice with this, the French press, I get a little bit more of those, like on the scent, the aromas, the aromatics. I get a little bit more of the chocolatey, like that sweetness with the French press, which I did not notice with the pour over, which I thought was interesting. Other than that, the flavor, let me go a little sip of both of them here real quick. With that syrupy and a little bit of the pepper on the back of that. Flavor, overall, pretty similar again for both those French press. Again, the main difference that I saw there was the aromas, the smell. With the French press, I kind of smelled a little bit more of that chocolatey kind of sweetness. But we'll go down here then to the grind type, as you might know from the previous episodes. For the pour over, again, use that medium fine grind, again like 10 to 12 seconds in the blade grinder, and more of a coarse grind for the French press. And with the French press, a little something that I wanted to mention here. The French press, sometimes people will press it down too fast, giving you all those little bits of the beans. If you had too fine of a grind, they might come through the filter there. So what I did is I just kind of let the weight of my hand come down and press down on that, instead of actually actively pushing it down. And that I noticed the last couple times that I've used the French press has not produced as much of that sludge at the bottom, or the beans, those little bean bits to get through that filter. So give that a try if you're finding yourself with a lot of coffee grinds, a lot of coffee bits in your caffeine. Okay. But overall, hey, good job, Middle Fork Roasters. I thoroughly enjoyed the Tough as Nails blend. Gonna be enjoying this for the rest of the week. Okay, so I highly suggest that you guys reach out or look on the website, middleforkroasters.com. Middle Fork Roasters, no different spelling at all. And their address is actually on the bag. I didn't even notice that. 420 South 96th Street, number 6, Seattle, Washington, 98108. Would you look at that? Wow. So there you go. Stop by, give them a visit. Overall, I would say like a solid 9 out of 10, dude. 9 out of 10, 90%, A minus. I know it feels like I'm being pretty generous with my gradings here, my ratings of these coffees, but I have not come across one that I did not like. Like, I mean, hey, it's good coffee. It's good coffee. Not trying to drink like subpar coffee on purpose. I mean, maybe one of these days we'll try something like that in one of these episodes. But for now, these are great coffees. 9 out of 10. I'm sticking to it. You can't convince me otherwise. Middle Fork Roasters, way to go. And I'm just taking that one off of there because, hey, Tough as Nails blend. I was led a little bit astray by that name with the flavor. I think it should have been more like, syrupy and silky smooth or something like that's not making me think I'm going to be falling on my ass from drinking this cup of coffee. But all in all, very delicious. Let's move on. Let's transition into the good news. All right, y'all. I know last episode we dropped into the fall season, but today, this week is a different week. Different week from last week. And this week, we're officially into October, which means spooky season. Yeah. It's time for snuggling up, for scary movies and candy, dude. Oh, I'm a big fan of scary movies. Probably watched at least like 623 scary movies in my life. So glad now that I am an adult, I can watch all the scary movies I want, and my mom can't take my candy away from me. Dude, nothing worse than going trick-or-treating and then your parents take all your candy away from you. It sucked growing up during Halloween. It didn't suck growing up. Just around Halloween, it was not fun when our mom would always take all of our candy and hide it from us, and then, forget where she hid it. And now as I'm getting older, I'm starting to think she didn't actually forget where she hid it, but probably for the best, for my little brother and I. But we were always upset that we didn't get to eat all of our candy. I mean, we worked hard for that, It's officially time, though, to hit the corn maze and the pumpkin patch with the fam. It looks like around the Seattle area, at least, looks like pumpkin patches are still a thing. They are still opening this season. Expect to have, modified hours of operation and new rules and precautions set in place. But you will still be able to get out there and enjoy some good old-fashioned October fall celebrations. Go apple picking, leaf peeping, which I did not know was actually a term. I think I had heard it before. I heard somebody say it, but I thought it was just like them being like a dork. But it sounds kind of silly. People do it, I guess. You can go and watch the leaves change colors. Or you could stick with the classic pumpkin patch and, pumpkin carving. Just make sure to look up your favorite pumpkin patch's website or their Facebook page and see if you might need to make a reservation or something like that, okay? Personally, this beautiful first full weekend in October, I'm going camping. What's up? So that's some good news for me. Sorry you guys don't get to share in that. Maybe you do. Maybe, you're going to be going camping this weekend. And I know I said this weekend. I am pre-recording this in preparation for that because, going to be heading out later today. Going to be going and enjoying the great outdoors. Just chill out, Hopefully not literally, but... it may be a little bit chilly since we are in the transition up here in the PNW. This is, this is like the time where the temperature starts dropping at sleep time, nighttime. But gonna feel great having a nice warm cup of Joe in the AM. Waking up, unfortunately we won't be able to have a fire due to a burn ban, but that's okay. I mean, we'll figure out another way to roast our marshmallows and get them that nice dark brown. We'll get through it. Gonna go enjoy some fishing, maybe rent a kayak or some other water flotation devices, hit the lake. I think we're supposed to have some nice weather, sunny outside, but it's going to be a great weekend. For all of those that maybe have not been camping before, please, get out there, enjoy Mother Nature. All right, it's beautiful. But let's let's keep it rolling. More good news here. Lake Show, what's up? Lakers dropping dimes and looking like they're ready to tie a pretty little bow on the finals this year. Sorry, Miami. I mean, you got two of your star players out, but I think the Lakers are ready to leave the bubble victorious. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This could change. This is only 2 games so far. The last game was last night, Friday. Right now, it is Saturday morning while I'm recording this, so this will come out in a couple of days, and this could change. There's a game on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, Laker Nation on their feet. This is exciting. LeBron James, of course, is LeBron James. But hey, Anthony Davis and Rajon Rondo in the game last night. Oh man, these men, hey, they're doing great things for the Lakers right now. So just keep that up. And I don't know if we're gonna be going into game 6 or 7. Rajon Rondo, he was doing work last night. All right, That's funny. He is actually one of the reasons my favorite number is 9. Watched him when I was younger, when he was like on the Celtics. So that's pretty cool. Good to see. He's still in the league. I think it's been like 17, 25 years or something. But let me go a little sip here. Lakers Nation, man. Everybody's excited. All right. Let's take a little dip into the water here for the next headline. And those of you that know me, big fishing fan. Catch and release mostly. But there's something about marine life. I don't know. That's just pretty exciting if you really think about it. I mean, like how bad we are at swimming, like as humans, and these things just live in water. What? But came across this news that this is an ongoing story. So it seems that there has been some fishy activity, some illegal action going on in the fishery world. And earlier in September, a federal judge ruled the National Marine Fisheries Service, NMFS for short. They have to change a pre-existing catch limit for a small yet very important fish that has been apparently overfished for years. While these fish populations were at like extremely low levels. What are we talking about here? What fish are we talking about here? I'll give you a guess. That's right. You guessed it. We're talking about anchovies. The energy bar of the ocean, some might call them. I don't know. They're essential for other marine life too, including whales, dolphins, sea lions, salmon, a bunch of marine life. Everything, if you take the essential part of the food chain out of the equation, that's going to cause issues to happen up the chain, and that's what we had seen. So Judge Lucy Coe issued the agency to make a new rule and gave them 120 days for this change to happen. So the change, this is ongoing right now because this was done earlier in September. So they have to change the catch limit for these little fellas and take into account the drastic fluctuations in populations and help prevent overfishing when the stock is low. Sounds like NMFS set like a catch limit that was already illegal. It was already deemed illegal back in 2018, but they made no change after that point so they got like a slap on the wrist, and for some reason nothing happened. But this catch limit, which was pretty crazy, these numbers, let me hit you with some knowledge here. It was 23,537 metric tons. Dude, what? Now, I did not know this before, but a metric ton is different than a U.S. ton, like a normal ton, like a ton that we know, like it's 2,000 pounds. So I've always thought metric tons, 2,000 pounds, but I was wrong. A U.S. ton is the 2,000 pounds, and the metric ton turns out is like 2,240 pounds. So 240 pounds more than the U.S. ton. And this is metric ton, also known as the British ton. All right. Also known as the long ton. Did not know that was a term either. And so from 2009 to 2015, scientists had documented an anchovy population collapse. And from this, like, we had seen thousands of sea lions starve to death along the West Coast. You might have seen those headlines back in those days around that time period. Brown pelicans abandoning their baby chicks, not able to feed them. Long story short, NMFS is in some hot water right now. Better get their act together. Hey, anchovies are essential, not only to the other ocean wildlife, those other fish in the sea and the ecosystem there, but I mean, this extends even to the fishing communities, local like we went to the Oregon coast over the summer. And all up and down there's, just these whole fishing communities and just all these local economies that include, people that do sport fishing, go take people out on expeditions, whale watching businesses, stuff like that. And, who would have thought that overfishing of these little fellas would cause havoc all the way up that chain? But next time you get some extra anchovies on your slice of za, take a moment of silence for the little anchovy buds. All right? Hopefully, NMFS turns it around, but good on Judge Lucy Coe for cracking down, all right? Cracking the whip, protecting the wildlife, helping prevent the overfishing of our seas. Just grinds my gears, man. Grinds my gears. So, hopefully they do turn that around. But on the subject of water, dude, let's get into the next one. And again, I know it's kind of funny. We've talked a lot more about space and water on this show than I thought I would have. But nonetheless, we got some more evidence of potential bodies of water on Mars, dude. Mars? What? Come on. Again, here, going back to 2018, planetary scientist Roberto Orosei, Italian, I think, and colleagues stirred the pot that was the multiplanetary conversation when they claimed they had found evidence of a subglacial lake a mile below the surface of Mars, near its south pole. I do remember seeing the headlines at that point. And at that time, he and his colleagues, the ones that had proposed this information, were met with some criticism, some skepticism, maybe, by other scientists in the community, also known as the haters. Come on, we all know there's haters in every walk of life. But now, in 2020, they come back. Orosei and his colleagues have more evidence now that there's a high likelihood that these lakes do exist. So they've taken these images, with the telescopes, and they published this new information recently in the journal Nature Astronomy. So take a peek at that if you are in the mood for a light read. But in these latest observations, they have found that there's a total of 3 new possible lakes or bodies of water under Mars's crust of ice. It's freezing cold. Saying possible here, possible lakes there, because of course in science is a science. We like to test hypotheses and do not claim facts, but we observe. These are observations, right? So we still need some more research to be done, and I'm sure we'll hear an evolution of this story. But for now, that's exciting. That's exciting, dude. Oh, yeah, sorry to just keep taking you to outer space. But let's bring it back in. Let's reel it back in, because you know what time it is right now. It's time for the weekly whistle. and I stayed with that name. Still staying with that name, and again, this could change in the future. This is episode 3, so if it does change, we'll take a poll. We'll take an Instagram poll. But this week for the weekly whistle, I based this a little bit around the Middle Fork Roasters and kind of the vibe for the show today. The Tough as Nails blend, and I got the cowboy there on the front. Let me get a little sip. Oh man, that's good. I was feeling a little bit country, so coming to you from the country music capital of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Brooks and Dunn. Yep, that's right. You might have heard of them before, maybe not, but this duo is made up of two fellas by the names of Kix Brooks and Ronnie Dunn. What names are those if they are not country? Come on, Kix Brooks and Ronnie Dunn, this dynamic duo. They've been at it for decades. They've been at it since they started back in 1990 was when they joined. Before that, they were solo artists, back in the 80s. But these men have had many number one country hits over the years. They were not always together. They did break up for a little while. They had a split on good terms, of course, for a couple of years from 2010 to 2014. They were doing their own thing at that time. But I feel like that's almost inevitable when you're in a band or have some sort of a group that you perform anything with, for an extended period of time. I mean, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Destiny's Child, the Beatles, the Spice Girls, Fleetwood Mac, every single one of those, that was kind of an all over the place list, but it just goes to show that it can happen to any group. But our boys Brooks and Dunn coming back. They had released an album in 2019, last year, called Reboot, with a lot of their old hits, but featuring newer contemporary artists, which this might be good for all of you out there that might not like the country music due to the old-timey sound, the twang in the voice, and not much rhythm or bass, so this mix with the modern artists like Casey Musgraves and Thomas Rhett or Kane Brown might be up your alley. Some might say that the golden age of country music has come and gone, but I don't know. There are cycles to it. There are cycles to everything, right? So we will see. And take a peek at that album from 2019 called Reboot if you're interested in that. But for today's episode, I wanted to share with you all my top 5 Brooks and Dunn hits. A little reason why I like the song each, and then what strikes out to me and what picture these artists are trying to paint, like what I think they're trying to get across. Not in any particular order here, because it was hard to choose a ranking for these 5 because I like them all. But let's start it off. Number 1 here. We're going to start with a good old boot, scootin' boogie. And that is boot, scootin' boogie. Boogie. Boot, scootin' boogie. Yeah, so this is off of the 1993 album titled Hard Workin' Man. Got the intro with the guitar, the vocals. We got some violin, some piano in there, dude. If you listen to this and you don't see yourself by a bonfire out in the sticks, dude, blasting some Brooks and Dunn, you're not even worried about the neighbors calling the cops, when you're out in the country, because the closest neighbors aren't for another 3 miles. And the county sheriff is singing along with a whiskey in his hand over there across the fire. I feel sorry for you if you didn't grow up in the country and don't know what I'm talking about, and maybe that sounds horrible to you. It's just a different vibe, for sure. I get it. It's a different vibe. Might sound like not so fun of a time for you, but dude, it's a fun time. It's a wild time. All my country listeners out there, you all know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've been to Watershed. If you've been to Watershed, hey, you got a little bit of a taste. Not quite, but a little bit of a taste of what a good old-fashioned bonfire out in the country might be like. But overall, this song is awesome. It's just talking about being done with a hard day's work, out cowboying, and it's just time to do some boot scooting boogieing. It'll put you in a good mood, ready to party, ready to rock and roll. And talking about the party, we'll move on to song number 2. Song number 2 is Play Something Country off the 2005 album Hillbilly Deluxe. Hillbilly Deluxe. That's a pretty funny name. But hey, see what I'm saying? These men have been at this in the game for a long time, for a minute, because that last song was off the 1993 album, and this one's in the 2005, so 12-year gap right there between those. But this song, I mean, just imagine yourself out on the open road through the country, getting ready to go on a road trip. Maybe you're picking up your friends. You turn the volume up on this one, get ready for a rockin' ride. It's 86 degrees out. You got you got the song playing too loud as you pull up in the local gas station and you see your buddy across the parking lot. Hey Carlos, what's up, dog? You guys head down to the local honky tonk, maybe hit that up on the way out of town. Dude, it's the middle of summer, some warm climate action. Ah, man, the sun starts setting as you're cruising along. Life is good. Life is good. That's what this song makes me feel like. You're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to get it going. So that brings us to number 3. Ain't Nothing 'Bout You. Ain't Nothing 'Bout You. Wow. This is off their 2001 album, Steers and Stripes. Very country name. Steers and Stripes. But here again, you hear the main singer, Ronnie Dunn, getting into his feelings a little bit, all right? Getting a little sentimental with this one, showing some of the emotions and this impassioned message to a lovely lady that he obviously has an infatuation with. I mean, is this the love of his life? I don't know. Maybe. Imagine we're on that road trip. This is what this makes me feel like. Maybe you're with a group of friends. Maybe our crush is also on the trip. Your high school sweetheart crush is also on the trip. We pull over to the side of the road. We're looking out at the horizon as the sun is setting, catching that last faint little bit of sunlight. It's peeking out from the horizon like it's still trying to hold on because, it'll miss us and hanging out with us on this wonderful day that we've had. This song is like, it reminds me of if you have a crush on someone, but they maybe don't know, or maybe you had that coincidental eye connection with that random girl or guy or non-binary person in the gas station when you were reaching for the same bag of Fritos and this song starts playing in the background. Dude, man, it'll have you in your feelings. But it's a good song all around, like a good love song. So let's go on to number 4, and we'll keep the love train rolling. This is My Maria, and originally this song was done by B.W. Stevenson in 1976, who, I read this somewhere, BW was short for his nickname Buckwheat, which is pretty hilarious if that's true, and that's his artist, like his famous name. That's pretty funny. But My Maria, these guys brought it back. Brooks and Dunn, a little sentimental again here, but a little bit more playful, upbeat. We got some wooden hand cymbals in this one. We again, this man with the vocals singing his ass off on this one, and we're still on that road trip. Now the sun is set, and we had to set up a campsite somewhere. And it turns out our crush is no longer along with us on the road trip. Maybe Maria had to turn around. We found out her name was Maria in the setting of this song. And our road trip that we're going on here had to drive back home because maybe she forgot to feed her pet cat, or she dipped out early from the road trip. So we're missing Maria a little bit here. And this song, we're singing around the campfire to the rest of the group, and we're just getting sentimental in our feelings. We're feeling a little bit down. But while we're in our feelings, let's move on to the fifth song. Again, this is just how I'm seeing these songs, what I believe that they're making me feel, and what I believe they're trying to get the point across, So this man is obviously very in love with a young lady by the name of Maria. But last on the list here, and definitely not least, number 5, Neon Moon. Taking another trip back in time. This one was back in 1991. That's almost the 80s. Wow, 1991, a couple decades ago. I mean, the vocals on this, on point. I feel like this song was ahead of its time back in the day. Just so smooth. Singing, with some soul to this one. And bringing us back to our road trip. Maybe we're out camping. The campfire is out now. Now we're in our tent all alone, with a nice pair of noise cancellation headphones on, listening to Neon Moon, because Maria's gone. No, but all jokes aside, this on Neon Moon, this is always a good song. It's a smooth song that you can play, and it's easy listening for that number 5, Neon Moon. But damn, is that not a good lineup of songs right there? Yo, check them out. Brooks and Dunn. For those of you that are into country music, I'm sure you know who Brooks and Dunn are, but for those of you not in the country music scene, it's a solid artist duo to start with. And it's going to get me ready for the week. I'm excited for this week. I'm getting primed up. Looking forward to it. But all right, y'all, that rounds off the weekly whistle. That rounds off episode 3 of the Good Days Only podcast. If you have not already, go check out the Instagram page, GDO Podcast, on IG. Go give the other episodes a listen if you have not, if you're just tuning in here. But looking forward to a good week this week. Hope you all have a good week, and tune in next week. All right? Until next time, much love. Peace.